break this down for you guys. And keep in mind that this is someone who we're taking from already doing 20K a month to scaling to, we'll say, about 50K a month. That's like 33K for 90 days straight, 33K a month. But there's so much in here. When I was making this, I was like, oh, dude, I have to show my guys this just because there's just so much value here. So what we first did for Pablo was we wanted to put together a Grand Slam offer. So what Pablo's going to start doing is it's a media coaching offer where he helps guys basically pick up a camera and start making a living from it, right? Close their own clients, edit their own content, have their own, one-man show, one-man process, and get them to six figures doing it. So the way that I framed for him to put together his offer is very similar to the way that you guys put together your VSL offer, right? I will help ICP, which is ideal customer persona, achieve dream outcome in time frame without pain point. And I usually will add in like another added benefit and never run out of clients. Or I will work with you for free until you do, right? We back it by a zero deviation policy. We give them a critical task list as a deliverable, right? Very similar to what I do for you guys. Now, let's just break this down a little bit, okay? So the offer that he's putting together and who he's trying to help is his ICP is media freelancers, okay? So specifically broke media freelancers, right? Now, the dream outcome is to make 10K a month, right? In 90 days without pain point and never run out of clients. Now, the way that we put this together was I put together an offer name for him and called it the stupid simple media method, right? Because Pablo's thing is like, hey, it's really easy to just get cheap equipment. And like, if you're really good at talking to people and you can sell, you can put together a really good product for them and make a living out of it. And there's like, the market for it is just like endless. There's so many businesses that need content help. Now, what we did was most of the problems that he was experiencing that someone, I said, okay, so like when you were coming up in the game, Pablo, like what did you experience? Like what are some of the pain points that you experienced like while you're building this business? And he was like, oh, well, like it's like getting clients, right? And then then it's like, affording the gear, right? And then it's like keeping clients, right? And then it was like, well, going to the the client job and then knowing how to get the best content out of them, right? Like almost like, hey, okay, yeah, you can fucking get the client, right? But you pull the camera out and then they're like not saying anything. What the fuck do you do, right? It would be really awkward. So what we did was we put these together, these problems, right, that his ICP would experience in the pursuit of trying to build their media business to 10K a month in 90 days, right? Or in more than 90 days, right? And we put them together as deliverables that literally solve each problem piece by piece, right? So how we did that was this. And a really easy way for you guys to conceptualize this is by naming, right? And I named these in a very, I think, fucking clever, in a decently clever way to help you understand what the point of it is. So this is exactly why I frame the nutrition, training, and accountability as a name, right? Because when you name your offer, right, like mine's called the rebound method. Some of you guys have a different, name for yours, right? When you name it, it's a name that encapsulates what it actually does, right? So I put together this, and he hasn't built this stuff yet. Keep in mind, right? This is stuff that he still needs to build for his offer. These are the deliverables that he would be giving to his clients. Sleaze-free sales system, right? He's like, hey, people want to start their media company, but they don't want to be like sleazy salesmen, right? I go, okay, cool. We'll put together the sleaze-free sales system. Sell with authenticity, right? And then he's like, well, then it's like knowing what gear to get, and like it's not even that expensive. But it's like if you know how to shop, you'll know like what to get. I said, okay, great, dude. We'll put the gear budget Bible together, right? Get everything for $500 or less, right? Cool. See, now we're giving someone an actual thing, like a deliverable that they can use to solve their problem. So I want you guys to start thinking about that, right? It's not just nutrition, it's not just training, it's not just accountability, right? Because in those problems, what did I say? These are like umbrellas, right? In these problems, there's smaller problems. And that's how you break down your deliverables. Like, think about it. Think about all the modules and fucking action items that are in this business, right? For what I teach you guys. Do you guys think I didn't just pull it out of my ass? The reason why these are specifically solving each problem and each possible bottleneck that you could be solving in the business, and why I'm constantly doing trainings like this and constantly adding more is because the ICP, which is you guys, buys the offer because they believe and trust that it's going to solve their problems. So when we're pitching this, not only when we're pitching this, but when we're knowing, hey, like what the fuck am I even selling, right? This is how we want to go about this process. And then another thing too, he said, well, a lot of it too is like you want to be able to keep clients, right? Sometimes it's like, your business will go fluctuate. I said, dude, awesome. We'll put together the risk-free referral playbook where all their clients can get them referrals consistently so they never run out of business. And then what was the other problem that he said that his clients were experiencing? Was he said, well, most people, they're not like me and you, Gabe. And I was like, what do you mean by that, Pablo? He said, well, they're not like friends like us. Like they can't just banter back and forth and get good content out of it. It's like, he's like, yeah, I know what to say to you. He's like, and I've gotten better at this job. Like I'm good at what I do. Like I can interview people. I can get the right content out of them. He's like, but you got to know what to do. He's like, that's a big thing. Most people that scares them away because they're not going to know how to get that content out. And guess what? The business owner doesn't get good content. Why the fuck are they going to hire that person again? Especially if they want to sell it for a high ticket. So I said, okay, we'll put the 5 W's client content blueprint. Learn how to get the best content out of your clients so they have an out of this world experience. Do you guys understand why I'm showing you this and why I'm able to create things like this? It's because the principles are the same. They carry over to this business and your offer as well. Okay, so let me break this down just a little bit and I'll talk about the rest of this. Okay. So the dream outcome is essentially 10 grand a month in 90 days. It's very similar to this offer, but like for a media company. Now, one of the two things that I talk about in this, in my offer is what? No ads and no cold DMs. Why? Because knowing how to run ads and when to run ads is a huge issue for a lot of people that are at your spot. And by the way, if you can't get to 10, 20, 30K a month organically, you shouldn't be running ads, right? Cold DMs. A lot of you guys were doing it. Some of you guys were. You guys were fucking messaging random people that didn't even follow you. The only reason that you had to do that or felt like you had to do that was because the content wasn't on point. There wasn't a proper nurturing sequence. Of course, you're going to have to message cold people, right? You have to fucking message twice, 5 times the amount of people, and then they're all cold, right? Just to get the same amount of deal flow. So we reverse engineered that. We created that for the content. So what we did with his offer and what you're going to do with your offer is you're going to take the 2 biggest pain points that your client would experience, right? And you're going to put them in your offer statement. Now, one thing that you do want to add into your offer is some sort of guarantee. And I want you guys to start thinking about this because this is what is really going to help you close. Now, When I used to sell fitness, this is going to be a light bulb moment for a lot of you guys. Okay. When I used to sell fitness, I would tell people on the sales calls, I would say, I'm the best coach. If there was objection about price, or if there wasn't, right? I would say something along the lines of, yeah, I'm the best coach for your situation, right? I wouldn't say I'm the best in the world. I would say, yeah, I'm the best coach for your situation, right? That's why I charge what I charge, because this is a one-time payment, man. Like I'm trying to get you to become empowered to do this on your own and send you on your way. When people would hear that, they would be like, dude, holy fuck, where do I sign up? I'm being 100% serious. Like, I would close so many people doing that. Why? Because they knew. They go, oh, I get it now. I can either go back to what I was doing, or the alternative, maybe they weren't doing it, right? I can work with a bunch of shitty coaches and pay even more potentially, or I can work with Gabe, or I can work with whoever, pay them one time, right? And then know how to do this business, know how to get in shape, know how to get to 10K a month. The whole goal for your clients, by the way, outside of like competitive bodybuilding, which I don't think any of you guys coach competitive bodybuilders. This is why we want to get the most LTV out of them up front. It's because we are giving them the best possible experience, so we're charging them the most. We're not getting them. We could do monthly installments based off of the full price of our offer. But we're not. The reason why we're charging that much up front is because we are collecting the most LTV up front and not waiting on a monthly subscription basis, right? Because we want people to be bought in. Like, that's the most important thing. Is you may think like, oh, I pulled some fucking gymnastics on the call and that's why they closed. Dude, people are like 80 to 90% already bought in when they get on the call, especially after watching the VSL. So something that you can start doing is you can tell them, hey, I back my guarantee with something called a zero deviation policy, which you have to give them a critical task list. Just same thing that I give you guys, okay? And you have to tell them that I will work with you I will get you to, we'll say, what my offer was, lose 10% of your body weight in 180 days or less, right? And if you didn't do that, I would work with you for free until you did. The only caveat was that they had to check in every single fucking day, right? Other fitness programs were once a week. Mine was not only once a day, but they had to send a picture of every single one of their fucking meals, a picture of their weight on the scale in the morning. And they also had to send me a mirror fucking selfie at the gym to show me that they went to the gym. And if they missed one fucking day, guess what? They lose the guarantee. Pretty strict, pretty cutthroat, because your program guarantees fucking results, right? You want to leave no room for fucking error, no margin for error. It's super important. And this has a lot to do with how people are going to respect you, respect your offer, and fucking apply the information and apply it when they get into your coaching program. Okay? So I'm going to reverse engineer this really quick. I wanted to just go over. Yeah. So I'm talking about the form of what the deliverables would be, right? Because these are just like names. They could be like anything. Videos, documents, models. Models is like, it's always going to be a video, but even unless it's like super easy to understand without making a Loom video over, a model is like those Miro boards that I make. This is a model, by the way, guys. This is technically like a model, right? Anything that you want to give to your clients to help them better understand what you're trying to help them learn, right? This is why I make these things, why I make the solar system content framework, right? The lead generation playbook, Money Man Avatar, the direct message training, Sales Calls 101, right? The reason I make those models within there is like, so I can download my brain into a visual and then you can learn it that way. Right. And then the access would in this case is text, right? But for you guys, it's trainerized. Now, see, this was his homework, right? Finalize pricing. What do I give them? Cool. Yeah, this is just us like brainstorming, John. But I want to talk about pricing, 3K, 5K, 8K, and 10K for a year. This is his pricing for this offer. Now, the goal here is to help him make 100 grand in 90 days. Right? This is my offer to him. Right? I'm saying, hey, make 100K in 90 days or less with the new media coaching offer. Now, I want to just talk about this really quick because this still applies to you guys. Now, you're going to see that there's YouTube and Instagram. Now, this is mostly where you guys are. And once you create the VSL, you're basically going to be here too. But let me explain what this means in this case and how it parallels to your businesses. So, you know, me and Pablo have a podcast, obviously. And I had a meeting with Pablo the other day, and I said, hey, Pablo, I said, we are not using the podcast to the best of our ability, and we need to put some gasoline on the fire. We need to get some staff going, and we need to get some set in stone podcast frameworks, and we need to start pushing our coaching offers, and we need to start monetizing. Right? Because I was using the podcast, and this would be cool for you guys to understand. Like, this is just transparently what I'm going through in my business right now. I was using the podcast I said, hey, we'll use it to feed the content machine, right? Pablo was down for it. I said, you could be a co-host. I'll tag your shit, we'll tag my shit. We use it as a co thing, but I was putting it on my YouTube channel. I had my content editor and distributor take all of those YouTube videos and put them on a different channel, No Victim Podcast channel. And now the goal is we use it for a lot of things. For you guys, I don't think anyone's been on the podcast that's in this call right now, but you guys know, 10K a month. What's one of the added things that we do? We literally get you down to PA, you know, now in Pennsylvania, and we get you on the podcast, right? The reason we do this is because I want to have basically a media powerhouse for guys like myself, guys like you, guys like Pablo, his clients, other entrepreneurs, and use it as an asset for my business, right? So what I started to talk to Pablo about was this. I said, hey, you need to, if you're going to have a coaching offer for a media company, you need to now push the people from No Victim Podcast with CTAs to the VSL in your Instagram DMs, and they need to watch this VSL, right? Because he's going to create his own VSL for how to create your media company, right? So just follow me here. I'm going to go back to this. Actually, really quick, let me just explain this really fast, and then I'll go to Instagram. Once you make the VSL, guys, you have to understand something. If I could create another arrow, going this way. The VSL, while it's hosted on YouTube, the whole goal is to basically get people to bounce between the VSL and Instagram. Instagram, VSL, Instagram, VSL, Instagram, VSL. Watch the VSL. How do they get in contact with you after they watch the VSL? They will probably not find it on YouTube, right? They're going to send them the VSL on Instagram as a sales asset. But you guys want to keep in mind that this is your first step. This is the first piece of your YouTube, right? It's not obsolete. And there was some other YouTube stuff that I implemented that we're going to implement with Pablo, especially when you guys are at 20K a month. We really start bringing YouTube into the mix. And even guys, transparently, you knew. I said 4 weeks ago, I was like, I implemented the VSL into Evan's business. I said, I don't want to just keep it for people that are at 20K a month. So I literally stayed at my laptop for 2 days straight, made the entire VSL training, and I said, let's just give it to everybody. And now you can implement this into your business. The reason that I don't like to completely scatter people, but at least make the VSL, is because you can still hit 10K a month easily, 20K a month with the Instagram blueprint without ever doing a VSL. But then when you add it in, it's fucking game over. I'm telling you, it's game over. It's such an asset for your business. Now, what I told Pablo was, hey, you need to start posting way more content, 1 to 2 reels a day, right? You need to create a micro pinned VSL, which needs to be like the reel structure that I teach you guys, right? The deep fucking value reel structure. Hook, social proof, actionable advice, call to action. We use that same structure, and then we CTA the VSL. And then I told him, I said, hey, you need to up your stories. He's posting like 2 or 3 cute ones a day. I'm like, bro, you need to post 10 a day, 15 a day. And you need to bring way more energy, right? And he's great at talking, but I was like, bro, you need to start talking to people that want to build their fucking media coaching businesses. Not media coaching, but their media businesses, right? You just start talking to those people. This is why all of you guys are in this program, is because I've been talking to you guys for however the fucking long, right? Some of you guys longer than others, but I'm talking specifically to you guys. And then I wrote A to B equals social proof. CTA proof, excuse me. This is just an easy way of explaining, like, always using a point A to point B speaking framework. It's very similar to like this situation, struggle, solution, right? You're always saying, hey, this is the point A of my client, right? Or this is the point A of me, or this is the point A of how I used to think, or this is the point A of my business before, this is the point A of my relationships before, and now this is the point B, right? You always meet people at point A, right? The situation, struggle. The reason we use that is to frame it so they feel like you are actually talking to them. Because if you're just, because see, people think, well, is it social media? Like people, fucking idiots that don't even know how to do this business, that are fucking, whatever the fuck. They're like, well, doesn't it feel weird to just talk about yourself? I could never talk about myself all day long. It's like, it's the opposite of that. You're using yourself as an example, so you're not talking completely out of your fucking ass, right? So they know, like, hey, this is a person that actually experiences similar things to me, right? I know a lot of you guys have divorced parents, right? We can resonate on that. Yay. You know what I'm saying? A lot of you guys are or were broke as fuck. We can resonate on that. Yay, right? We're not fucking happy about it. It's fucking shitty, right? But what are we doing? What am I doing with my content? What are you doing with your content? You're offering solutions, right? This is how people get bought in. It's because they literally take what you're saying and they apply it and get real results in real life. And then they trust you. This is why I give out tons of free game. So you guys could see, I just want you to build trust with me. I want to show you, before you guys were even in this program, I wanted to show you that I knew what the fuck I was talking about, right? So what we do is we take people from the No Victim podcast, and we've now started to implement call to actions to Instagram DMs, right? And we're pushing both YouTube and Instagram to the VSL. What did I say before on the VSL training? This is now the passageway that everyone walks through before they buy your shit. And so Pablo's going to be closing everything in the DMs, right? Don't recommend it, to be honest, especially if you're not at 20K a month. The reason that he has to do this is because he owns 2 other businesses, right? And then we're pushing him to the Grand Slam offer. Now, the reason I wanted to show this to you guys is because I really think that it's a simple way of explaining to you. Give me a second here. I really think that it's a simple way of explaining to you guys how this business works across the board. You're seeing that we're talking about a completely different person here. Completely different ICP, completely different product and service at a completely different, Pablo's already at 20K a month, right? But the principles are the same.